When we got back from the honeymoon, he said I would have to do hysterectomy surgery to remove my uterus because he doesn't want to have children. Hey. Hello, this is 2024 and you're welcome to Life Stories with Bussy. I trust that you're doing great and I trust that you're charged up for this year because this year is going to be a fantastic year. I know that already. You see this year, this year, we are not going for anybody. This is our year, I know, and I just believe that there's so many things that are going to happen this year from us. You're going to see a lot of things this year. We're charged up to bring you a better viewing experience. Just wait for it. You're going to see it as it unfolds. Today's story is a long story, like all the stories I've told in recent times. Today's story is also a long story. I think the lady that wrote in tried to give us like a background story so that we could understand where she and her husband were coming from and what is happening now. Without wasting time, let me just jump into the story, right? Because that's what you're here for, right? Okay. She says, "Hello, Busi. My name is Memunat." She said, "I don't even know if I have a marriage anymore, and I don't know if I'm to blame." She said, "I've tried my best, and I don't know what else to do. Maybe we'll be able to help Memuna." I met my husband in the university. He was a very quiet guy. He's still quiet, and that's why most people don't believe when I tell these stories. He was a cousin to one of my flatmates because we stayed off campus and were introduced by that flatmate. Her name is Miro. I was quite popular in university. I even won a beauty pageant. I had loads of men who were around me, showering me with gifts, etc. One guy even bought me a car. I was popular, but I wasn't promiscuous. I dated one guy part-time. I didn't do sugar daddies, but I had a lot of men spending on me to entice me. My husband Tony used to be around his cousin a lot. He used to come to relax in our apartment, he would eat and all that. He was always around whenever girls were gisting, but he never involved himself in our discussion. He had a way that he used to stare at me, and I just believed that he admired me, but he couldn't tell me, and I wasn't really into him, so I really didn't bother about it. One day he came around and his cousin wasn't around, so he asked if he could stay and wait for her. I allowed him into the flat. That day I had menstrual cramps. He saw me about to take painkillers and he asked if I had cramps. That there were other ways to reduce pain than taking painkillers. Now, this was the first time he was going to talk to me, and I didn't get how he guessed that I had cramps. He said, one, because I looked sick, which was unlike me, plus the fact that he could spot that I was stained. That was embarrassing, and I ran into my room. I didn't come out for like an hour, and Mary's cousin wasn't back yet. And I heard knocks at my door. It was him saying that he was sorry if I felt embarrassed, that it wasn't anything, as he had pointed out these things to his sisters, and that I was the only boy. He proceeded to tell me other things that I could use to ease my pain. I still didn't open the door. I thanked him, but I didn't come out. The next day, he showed up again. This time, he caught me in the sitting area, and other people were there, and he didn't say anything. Some days later, he showed up to help pick some things for Miro, his cousin. He apologized again. I told him that it was okay. He asked if he could make it up to me by buying me lunch. I gave an express no. When I told Miro about it, she said that maybe he likes me. He started sending his cousin to me with different gifts. I saw him one day and I told him to stop sending me gifts. He said he was sorry, that he liked me, but he could see that I was out of his league. Then Tony's father died and Mary invited all of us, our flatmates, for the burial. Now, because I knew that I was going to be left alone for the weekend, I followed them. That weekend, we got time to talk, and I felt a bit at ease with him. Watched him with his sisters, and I felt like, he was caring. We started talking. I discovered that he was caring and that he was intelligent too. Then my boyfriend at that time broke up with me. I was in final year and I was preparing for my examination. I was so devastated. Tony was there as a shoulder to cry on. Shortly before our graduation, Mary's cousin left our flat because we had issues. A guy she liked and had a crush on started toasting me. I didn't know she had feelings for the guy. She accused me of seducing the only man she loved with my beauty. I didn't understand what was going on, but I warned the guy and told him off because I didn't want any trouble with Meru. We've been friends for a long time. Tony didn't stop coming to see me, though Meru and I were not on talking terms. So even when our relationship started, she was against it and she didn't come for our wedding. Tony was always in my corner. We spoke every day. He called me every day. He sent me gifts. It was so loving, though he didn't say anything. I was even the one who popped the question that would he be my boyfriend because I wanted to be with him. The moment I popped the question, he quickly jumped at it. And before I knew it, we were getting married. We were both in our final year, and once we graduated, we got married. Tony didn't care that we both didn't have a job. He had inherited his father's business and loads of money came with it. Till date, he says that I married him because of money. That my attitude towards him changed when I came for his father's burial and realized it was from money. That I loved money so much that I proposed to him when I realized he had inherited a fortune. The first sign of trouble started during the honeymoon. He kept using condoms and I was confused. Like, who uses protection during the honeymoon? I asked and he said that he doesn't know what I might have contracted from the many men I had been with. Imagine, that was what he said at the honeymoon. We did so many medical tests before the wedding and everything came out clean. So I didn't understand where it was coming from. When we got back from the honeymoon, he said I would have to do hysterectomy surgery to remove my uterus because he doesn't want to have children. I was shocked. He never said that before we got married. I wanted to know why. He said that it was a choice that he has made and it wasn't up for discussion. He warned me that if I go around trying to get family to talk to him or persuade him, he wouldn't find it funny. I told him I wasn't going to remove my womb, but I would do family planning. He warned me that it should never fail at any time, and he still continued using protection. One night, his protection failed, and I don't know what happened because I was also on IUD. Pregnancy setting, I didn't know because I didn't expect it. I was 4 months gone when I discovered. I was confused. I told him and he said it wasn't possible and that even by slim chance, if it was possible, I'd have to get rid of it. I told him I wasn't going to do that. Then he said that I am a liar, that he's sterile and he cannot father a child, that I must have been messing around like I used to when I was in the university. That was when the real war started. I went to his family and no one could actually tell him the truth, not even his mother. His mother said that since he had told me that I didn't want a child yet, that I shouldn't have gotten pregnant. I should have waited till he changed his mind. I felt like slapping her, like, did I impregnate myself? Someone that didn't want a child. Why didn't you do vasectomy? My mother is a single parent and she kept saying she didn't want me to end up like her. My mother kept saying I shouldn't give the devil a room in my marriage, that we should keep praying, but I couldn't cope. I left my house to my mom's house so I could be taken care of, since he had said that it would make my life miserable for disobeying and getting pregnant in one vein, and in another vein accusing me of sleeping around and pinning the pregnancy on him. One day I went back home to pick some clothes. I met another lady in his t-shirt and boxers in my kitchen. I confronted Tony and he said, what right do I have to challenge him about other ladies? That didn't I date married men in school? That he didn't marry me a virgin, though he was one. Okay, I don't understand that calculation. Anyway, he pushed me and I almost fell from the staircase. So I had the baby at my mom's house. They didn't show up, even though my mother called him and his mother to tell them that I'd put to bed. 2 months after the baby was born, his mother showed up in our house. I had a baby girl, and my daughter showed up looking like my husband, who looked like his mother. So even my mother-in-law couldn't deny that the baby was his. She begged me and said that she would talk to him. I insisted that we should do DNA because I needed to quell that talk that I was sleeping around. My husband showed up when my baby was 4 months old and apologized that it was a misunderstanding. I knew deep down that I was putting up an act. I went back home and he didn't carry this baby for one day. Even when I had to sort out other issues and the baby was crying, he would call me to go and attend to the baby. He would say things like, "Your baby is disturbing the peace and quiet of this house." One day, he said that now that I have disobeyed and have the baby, what's the assurance that the baby will really live to her first birthday? Huh? Let me read that again. One day he said that now that I've disobeyed and have the baby, what's the assurance that the baby will really live to her first birthday? I'm like, is it a curse or intent to hurt my baby? He gave me a cynical smile, so I don't leave my baby anywhere when he's around. Then he started on my weight, that I put on too much weight, that I should stop breastfeeding the baby and start a weight loss program. I told him to allow me breastfeed the baby till the baby is at least a year old. Then he said, can I compare who I am now to the beauty queen I was in the university? That I was finished and I had nothing else to offer him. Then he started bringing women to the house right in front of me. When I complained, he would say, I'm too fat, and I irritated him. He said if I didn't like it, I should move out, that he's using protection and he doesn't put me at risk. Okay. Now, the crazy thing is, it will give me any amount of money that I asked for. And even when I moved to my mother's house, it was still sending money to my account every month. I have 2 cars to my name. I look like a rich woman ladies out there would envy, with a fine-looking husband, a home, a child, money. But I don't even understand again. The people I tell these things don't believe that Tony is a wicked man. We've just been married for 18 months. One day, I asked him why he married me if he knew that he didn't want me. He laughed that I wanted to cut off my wings, that I used to behave high and mighty when I was in school. He said that since I was the one that proposed to him, that my love should be enough for both of us. I'm just 26 years old. Do you think this marriage can work? Should I keep trying? Maybe it would change. He doesn't beat me apart from the time he pushed me and I almost fell down. But the things that he says to me hurt me a lot and they make me afraid. Some people said maybe he had a hard time growing up as a child. So if the facts of this story is true, then I think that your husband needs a psychiatric evaluation. Because I do not understand how a normal person would behave the way that you have described him. You know, I was having a conversation with some of my family members during this holiday, and I was saying that there are loads of mentally deranged people who are wearing clothes these days. You know, before now, we used to see madmen on the street and you know them because, you know, they would have stripped themselves of their clothing. But the kind of people that we have these days who need psychiatric evaluation, they are clothed. They have clothes on. So it's not only when you see someone without clothes on that you think that the person is gone mad. There are so many people in clothes with few screws loose from their heads. You know. So instead of us to call it what it is, English language has helped us to embellish madness, you understand? So we give it names like, oh, narcissist, gaslighter, manipulator, when somebody has gone mad, when his screws in his head have gone. As far as I'm concerned, organizations that are in charge of marriages, like the marriage registry, like churches, they should begin to demand for psychiatric evaluation. Apart from genotype, HIV, and pregnancy in some cases, they should begin to demand for psychiatric evaluation at this point, because there are so many people, you know, people that Yoruba people will call Wiralasho. They are clothed, they have clothes on, and they behave like mad people. Memunat, I'm surprised that you're still asking me if you should continue with that marriage. That marriage looks dangerous to me, and this man looks like someone that can hurt you or hurt your child. Because if all these things that you have said is the truth, then I think that you should run and go to your mother's house. Because a man who would even threaten his own child and say things like, oh, if the child doesn't live till a year old, why would you say that about your own child? He comes, he brings women into the house, he talks down at you, and you're still thinking about patching marriage or whether it can work. I don't know whether the reason why you keep thinking that you can stay is because of the money that you get. If I were you, I hope that you have saved money. Save the money and please leave. You said if you want to go, you can go. So why are you still there? What are you waiting for? I don't know what else to tell you. Maybe it's because your mom is saying that you should pray. But you are young, you are 26, a marriage that is just 18 months old. How long more do you want to go on? I think that you should count your losses, carry your child, and move back to your mother's house. If you have enough money saved, please carry your child and go back to your mother's house and try to start your life all over again. The kind of things he says, the things that he does, I cannot comprehend it at all. So if you were my sister, I would have come to pack your bags and would have left that man a long time ago. That's me. Guys, what do you think that Memunat should do? Do you think that she should keep on trying to work out this relationship? Or do you think that she should just run for her life? I think she should run for her life because I don't think that this marriage is safe in any way. It seems like an unpredictable person. This guy's meaning that he can just wake up and do things or say things. I don't know. Why do you want to continue to live with that kind of man? Guys, what do you think Memunat should do? Do you think that she should stay and try to work on this marriage? Do you think that there's a chance for this marriage to survive? Or do you think that she should leave? I'll be in the comment section. Memunat will be there too. Please tell us what you think. Till next time when I come your way, my name remains Adebusola David. Bye.